For the first time in modern history, the United States is openly admitting something unthinkable. Without a true sixth-generation fighter, it could lose air superiority in a Pacific war. That's not speculation. That's the core reason the F-47 exists. Inside this video, we go beyond the headlines. We break down what the Air Force isn't saying about the F-47's real mission. We analyze the few hard specs they've released, including a 1,000-plus nautical mile combat radius and Stealth++ claims. And we connect the dots between the adaptive cycle engines, the tailless blended wing layout, and the mysterious Area 51 sightings that suggest the aircraft is already flying. Is this the aircraft that restores American air dominance for another generation? Or the most expensive gamble in Air Force history? Let's break it down. The story of the F-47 really begins with the Next Generation Air Dominance program, launched in the early 2010s, as the Air Force realized the F-22, for all its brilliance, would not last forever. By the mid-2020s, the threats had crystallized. China's rapid modernization, hypersonic weapons, dense integrated air defense systems, and their own next-gen fighters coming online. The Air Force initially wanted a penetrating counter-air platform, a super stealthy, long-range fighter that could go deep into enemy territory, clear the skies, and come home. But costs exploded. In May 2024, the entire program was paused while the service did a hard reset. Internal studies showed that without a true sixth-generation fighter, the U.S. could lose air superiority in a Pacific conflict for the first time since World War II. On March 21, 2025, President Donald Trump stepped to the podium and made it official. Boeing had beaten Lockheed Martin and won the engineering and manufacturing development contract for the NGAD manned platform. The aircraft would be officially designated the F-47, a deliberate nod to the legendary Republic P-47 Thunderbolt of World War II, the year the Air Force became an independent service and a clear signal of renewed priority. The contract was worth more than $20 billion just for the development phase. The Air Force has publicly said it wants 185-plus F-47s, though the real number could climb higher once production ramps up. Boeing's St. Louis fighter line, the same one that built F-15 and F/A-18, is being revived and modernized for the job. From the very beginning, the F-47 was never meant to fight alone. The NGAD program is explicitly a family of systems, one crewed fighter plus hundreds or even thousands of collaborative combat aircraft, cheap, attritable, loyal wingmen that will do the dangerous work, extend sensors, carry extra weapons, and act as force multipliers. Official Air Force fact sheets released in May 2025 give us the few hard numbers we have. Combat radius, more than 1,000 nautical miles, roughly 25% better than the F-22. Top speed, faster than Mach 2. Stealth, Stealth++, all aspect, broadband low observability against radar plus dramatically reduced infrared signature. Designed for far higher availability, lower sustainment costs, and less manpower than 5th-gen jets. Everything else remains classified at the highest levels. For months, the public had to make do with heavily doctored official renderings released on the day of the contract award. Those images showed only the front half of the aircraft, a stealthy nose with a bubble canopy, pronounced wing dihedral, and what looked like fixed canard foreplanes. Air Force and Boeing officials quickly admitted the images were placeholders, deliberately distorted and edited to hide the real shape. Adversaries were not supposed to get any useful intelligence. Then, on February 18, 2026, Pratt & Whitney dropped a new video about its XA-103 adaptive cycle engine. In the final seconds, a stunning computer-generated animation appeared. A twin-engine, single-seat, tailless fighter with a trapezoidal wing platform, prominent canard foreplanes, 2 large 2D thrust vectoring nozzles, and a forward-placed cockpit. Aviation watchers immediately called it the best look yet at an F-47-like design. Is it the real thing? Almost certainly not in every detail. Pratt & Whitney was careful to call it notional. But the fact they felt confident enough to show it publicly while competing against General Electric for the actual engine contract tells us a lot. The real F-47 is likely close in overall layout. Blended wing body for maximum stealth and internal volume. Canards for control without a vertical tail, reducing radar returns. Adaptive engines for incredible range and dash performance, and a cockpit positioned for maximum pilot situational awareness. Even more intriguing, just 1 month earlier on January 14th, YouTuber Anders Ottosson of the popular Uncanny Expeditions channel captured thermal footage of a mysterious sharply triangular aircraft, quickly nicknamed the Dorito, flying at night near Area 51 alongside a B-2 Spirit bomber. The clean, equilateral triangle shape with no visible lights or conventional exhaust immediately went viral. While the Air Force has remained completely silent, aviation forums, Reddit threads, and analysts at the Aviationist and Outkick have openly speculated that this could have been an early flying testbed or DARPA-managed demonstrator directly tied to the F-47 program. The timing aligns perfectly with the classified development phase, and Groom Lake is the textbook location for exactly this kind of black project testing. Some even point to similar triangular sightings in 2014 near Boeing and Lockheed facilities as possible early NGAD precursors. Whether the Dorito is a direct F-47 ancestor, a separate DARPA X-plane, or something else entirely remains one of the hottest debates in the community right now. But the sighting has only intensified excitement about what Boeing is really hiding behind the classified curtain. The propulsion is the real revolution. Both Pratt & Whitney and General Electric are developing next-generation adaptive cycle engines under the NGAP program. These engines can change their bypass ratio in flight, acting like a high bypass turbofan for efficient cruise, then switching to a low bypass mode for maximum thrust when you need to run or fight. The result? The F-47 should be able to loiter for hours at long range and still sprint across the Pacific at supersonic speeds when the fight starts. Pratt & Whitney's XA-103 has already passed detailed design review using fully digital twins and hundreds of embedded sensors. Ground testing of prototypes is expected in the late 2020s, with production engines ready by the early 2030s. Early F-47 test aircraft may fly with interim engines, but the final production jets will have these adaptive monsters. Stealth on the F-47 goes far beyond the F-22 or F-35. We're talking broadband, all-aspect low observability that defeats not just X-band fighter radars, but also lower-frequency search radars and even some infrared sensors. Advanced materials, edge treatments, and active cooling will keep the skin temperature low even at high speeds. The aircraft is also designed to be far more sustainable, easier and cheaper to maintain in forward bases with limited infrastructure. The cockpit will be a generational leap. Expect a panoramic display, AI co-pilot that can fly the jet while the pilot focuses on command, and seamless integration with drone swarms. The pilot won't just fly one airplane, he or she will orchestrate an entire combat cloud. One of the most exciting aspects is the loyal wingman concept. The Air Force plans to buy up to 1,000 collaborative combat aircraft. These could be relatively cheap, $20 to $30 million each. Semi-disposable drones carrying missiles, sensors, electronic warfare gear, or even extra fuel. The F-47 will act as the quarterback, directing swarms deep into enemy territory while staying safely back. One F-47 plus 10 combat drones could deliver the combat power of an entire squadron while exposing far fewer pilots to risk. In a real Pacific scenario, imagine this: F-47s launch from Guam or Japan, link up with their drone wingmen, penetrate hundreds of miles into the South China Sea, overwhelm Chinese air defenses, and provide targeting data for B-21 raiders and Navy ships, all while the actual manned aircraft never enters the most dangerous zones. The timeline is aggressive but realistic for a program of this scale. Engineering and manufacturing development, 2025 to 2028. First flight, 2028. Initial operational capability, 2029 to 2030. Full rate production, early 2030s. Fleet of 185 plus aircraft, mid to late 2030s. Boeing has already begun long lead manufacturing as of late 2025. The St. Louis facility is being upgraded with state-of-the-art digital manufacturing tools to keep costs and timelines under control. Cost is still the elephant in the room. Early estimates suggested each F-47 could cost 3 times as much as an F-35, potentially $300 million or more per copy. The Air Force insists life cycle costs will be dramatically lower thanks to better reliability, fewer maintenance hours, and the ability to operate with fewer support personnel. Whether those savings materialize remains to be seen, but the program survived its 2024 cost crisis precisely because senior leaders concluded there is no alternative. The strategic implications could not be bigger. In a Taiwan scenario, the F-47 and its drone fleet could break China's A2/AD bubble, protect carrier strike groups, and give the U.S. and its allies the ability to contest the skies over the first island chain. It would restore the kind of decisive air dominance the U.S. enjoyed in every conflict since 1991, but against a peer adversary that has spent decades preparing to deny it. Critics argue the program is too expensive, too focused on a crude platform when drones are the future, or too provocative toward China. Supporters counter that you cannot deter a peer adversary with PowerPoint slides and concepts. You need hardware in the sky that can win. As of now, the F-47 is no longer just a PowerPoint slide or a doctored rendering. It is under active development at Boeing, with real engines being designed, real manufacturing starting, and real test flights less than 2 years away. We still don't know exactly what the final aircraft will look like. The real shape remains one of the most closely guarded secrets in the Department of Defense. But the pieces we have seen, the tailless blended wing, the canards, the adaptive engines, the drone teaming, plus the mysterious Dorito sighting that has everyone talking, point to something truly revolutionary. And what do you think about this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications to always stay in touch. See you soon!